Hey DNP, my name's Eric. I live in Denver. I'm from California and I've been here 16 years now. Right now I'm at Sloan's Lake where I just finished walking my dog. She's the only other lady in my life for now. I'm in construction, so you could say I'm pretty handy. So if you need your TV hung up, let me know. I spend a lot of my time outside or cooking, so if you think you're pretty active and you like to cook, I'm excited to meet you.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about this video that is going viral of a young man who got rejected by a liberal woman because of who he voted for, okay? The young man voted for Trump, and I guess they're on this speed dating show called the Date Night Podcast. I guess it's like one of those startup speed dating shows, and I got to be honest, if you need to go on a dating show in order to find love, I really don't have much hope for you because I think people that tend to go on these shows and agree to do this stuff, they're probably very narcissistic, okay? They're trying to, I don't know, achieve fame or whatever. I'm just saying, I believe this because when I was in middle school, I used to watch those reality shows a lot, okay? Those MTV reality shows about finding love, like Flavor Flav. Which, I mean, now that I think about it, definitely kill some brain cells for sure, right? I definitely am not proud of watching those shows, but hey, it was what was popular when I was in middle school. So I'm just saying, I never really saw any of these people achieve true love because most of the people on the show were lunatics, right? So it's like, okay, well, I can see why these people struggle with finding love, okay? Because there are a lot of crazy people out there. And that's what brings me to this video because I think bro dodged the bullet, right? I think this guy dodged the bullet here because, again, this woman is going to be upset due to the fact that he voted for Trump and not Kamala. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Lisa, do you consent to a second date?
Do I have a last question that I can ask?
Sure.
Okay, plot twist.
Let's go for it.
It's like bonus rounds.
Who did you vote for?
I voted for the Trump candidate.
See, this is where the dude is messing up, okay? This is where he's messing up. But I'm actually just going to let the whole thing play, and then I'm going to react afterwards. But this is where he kind of messed up, in my opinion.
But with that comes a lot of things, like a cabinet that has...
A cabinet? I can't! Oh, heart is broken. I enjoyed my evening with you, but I have to stick to my morals and my principles in democracy.
Wow.
What a plot twist.
The crowd has turned into Jerry Springer up in here. This is hilarious.
Fight.
All right. Well, Lisa, thank you so much.
So
Look
welcome.
Listen, everyone's got to stick to what they believe in.
Whoa. Plot twist.
Eric, are you surprised with how this went?
Not really.
No? Were you expecting something like this?
I kind of seem like they were all on the other side.
Yeah, clearly they're intolerant, right? I want to read the comment section because the comment section here is pretty bad as well too, right? This person says, I love how women aren't settling for these dudes. Not one day of my life have I been embarrassed to tell someone I voted for Kamala. Valid question. Voting for a twice impeached insurrections felon says a lot about a person's critical thinking skills and perception of how our decisions impact people other than ourselves. He voted against her basic human rights. The difference between a Trump voter and a Harris voter, Harris voters aren't embarrassed to say who they voted for. She just ousted him as undateable to the entire room. $10, he goes on a dude bro podcast to complain about women. Yeah, so, again, I think this dude won in this situation because when she made this face right here, right, I knew instantly, we're dealing with a far left feminist woman who probably has some issues, okay? Probably got some issues, okay? This face right here is undeniable, okay? I know what's behind them eyes, right? I know exactly the type of pain, hardship, chaos that a woman like this can cause a man, right? Again, I'm telling you, that's the reason why some of these women, again, I don't understand why any woman would want to go any of these shows, right? If you are a semi-attractive woman, like, why, right? Like, I don't understand. If you're having issues getting a man, it is you, right? It is you, okay? I'm just saying, I'm just keeping it 100, right? So, again, all the signs that we're dealing with somebody that would be a lot of headache, okay, in a relationship. Now, this guy, you know, hey, I think that the mistake that he made is not voting for Trump. That wasn't the mistake. The mistake was hesitating when she asked you who you voted for, right? You hesitated because the hesitation shows that he knows that telling women that he voted for Trump may make certain women, like, again, this intolerant liberal woman, say, no, you're undateable, and reject him, right? But as a man, you can't be afraid of that rejection, especially when you're talking about who you voted for, right? You got to say it with your chest. I voted for Trump, right? And if you don't like it, then kick rocks, okay? You got to show that confidence because the hesitation basically validates this woman's opinion, which is that, hey, bad people vote for Trump. And listen, this guy, he's ashamed. He's ashamed to even tell me that he voted for Trump, which again helps validate her delusions, right? And again, that's my biggest issue, right? He should have just been like, yeah, I voted for Trump, okay? Say it with your chest. But asking somebody who they voted for without asking them why they voted for the person, I think is pointless, right? I mean, I would not say, oh, well, I'm not going to agree to date somebody because of who they voted for. Even though, in my opinion, I can't think of any good reasons for why anybody would vote for Kamala Harris. But I think it's important, right, to understand exactly why somebody voted for who they voted for and to understand why they made that choice, because the why is going to tell you more about them, right? Who they voted for, yes, that tells you something, okay, about that person, but the why is actually the most important part, okay? And that's the part about the comments that I think is very, again, telling, is that people automatically believe that, you know what, there are no legitimate reasons for voting for President Trump, right? Therefore, because this guy voted for Trump, he has to be a bad guy because there are no legitimate reasons to support Trump. And I just think that that's a very ignorant and closed-minded way of thinking about somebody's vote and what that says about a person, because there are people who voted for Trump because they legitimately were financially struggling under Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, right? So they voted for President Trump because they wanted a better economy. There are people who have been victims of crimes by illegal immigrants that say, hey, we need a tougher border, right? There are legitimate reasons to vote for Trump, okay? And it doesn't make you a bad person to vote for President Trump. What actually makes you a bad person is to assume that somebody is a bad person because of who they voted for, right? That's actually what makes you a bad person. Because as I stated, I would not reject somebody because they voted for Democrats. For as much as I do not like the Democrats, right? And I definitely think that a lot of people who vote Democrat are at the very least misinformed. I would have to ask why, right? Like, why did you vote for Kamala Harris? Or why are you a Democrat or whatever, right? If you tell me that I voted for Kamala Harris because I want to take down the patriarchy, then yes, I will then say no, right? Like, I am not interested because the why told me everything I need to know. But if you say something like, oh, well, I vote for Democrats because I feel like, I don't know, they do a better job at protecting the social safety net, right? Something like that, okay? If it's something like that, it's like I might not necessarily agree with you, but at the same time, it's like, all right, well, it's not for some deranged reason, right? It's not irrational, okay? And what you can see here, again, in the comment section, is that liberal women are intolerant towards men who, again, don't vote the way they think that men should vote, right? Which basically is a signal to them that, hey, this guy, because he voted for Trump, he's not going to be a pushover, right? I'm not going to be able to run over him, okay? He's not going to be my slave, okay? I think that's kind of what it's about more so than anything, because a man that voted for Kamala, let's be real, any man that voted for Kamala, right? These type of women, they're going to run over him, right? You guys saw Alec Baldwin, right? You guys saw that video that went viral of the interaction that he had with him and his wife. Yeah, that is how women treat men that vote for Democrats.
The Ilaria show.
No, I think we're gonna see. You know,
We're gonna see how it feels to have it be out there.
It's gonna be great.
This
You're a
season-
winner.
Oh my God! When I'm talking, you're not talking.
Sorry.
No, when I'm talking, you're not talking. This is why. Yes, we'll have to like just cut him out of the show. No, no. I mean, I think this is a really raw show, and it's very real, and we took a lot of chances. And I think that we'll see where it leads us. We'll see what it feels like to have be out there, and then we'll see if people like it.
Yeah, only a liberal man, only a man that voted for Kamala Harris would tolerate that type of disrespect from a woman. And women like this, I guarantee you, they're looking to dish out that type of disrespect, right? That's what they do, right? That's how they treat their men, especially behind closed doors. That woman did it in public, right? Imagine what she does to this man behind closed doors, right? Just imagine. But again, if you voted for Trump as a man, that's a signal you're not a pushover, that you're more than willing to go against the mob, right? You're more than willing to say, I don't care, okay? I'm gonna do what's right. I got some self-respect, okay? So again, I don't think this dude lost anything here. Okay. I think he dodged a bullet, right? I just think that he shouldn't be ashamed of saying who he voted for, because it doesn't matter what her response is. It doesn't matter what her reaction is. Okay. If she get up and leave, who cares, right? Who cares? She lost. You didn't lose. You won, because her reaction told you everything that you needed to know about her, right? Okay. Because again, a lot of these women, they don't want actual men. They want women with penises, right? That's what they want. Right? That's what they really want. They don't want an actual man. They want a pushover. They want somebody they can beat up. They want somebody they can mentally, in some cases, physically abuse, right? Some of them, I'm just saying, they're that crazy, okay? Some of them. Not all of them. I'm just saying some of them. A lot of them, the ones that, again, tend to be more liberal, right? That are extremely intolerant. If she's intolerant about who you voted for, what else is she intolerant over, right? I'm just saying. She didn't even ask why. So, it happens, right? It happens. I think this happened to me probably one time. I've thought about this, not that often, but when it happened, I thought about it. I was like, I think this happened to me. I had took a girl out on a date that went to Duke University, okay? And we went out to like PF Chang's or something. And I thought it was a good time. I thought it was a good date. She was hanging out afterwards, whatever. She's from like the West Coast, okay? From Cocoa Puffs, California, right? But yeah, she told me she worked for the Democrat Party, and then I told her what I did. And, at the time, it didn't seem like an issue, because she was still just kind of hanging out, right? Even after I told her that, like, she was just kind of chilling, okay? She wasn't rushing off, anything like that at the end of the night. So it was, it was one of those things. I'm like, okay, I ain't think too much about it. And then I left, okay? And then I feel like I texted her like the next day or something like that, and she didn't respond till like a week later, like a whole week later. And she responded in a way that women respond when they like trying to like cut it off, where it's like, oh, like, it was great to meet you, and I hope that everything goes well for you in the future, or whatever, blah blah. Just in a way where I kind of knew, I was like, all right, like, she's not feeling it or whatever. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I didn't even text back. I didn't even respond, okay, because I already knew. I was like, all right, like, she texted me a week later. She ain't really interested. I'm not gonna waste my time. So since then, I've always wondered, okay, was it because of my political beliefs? Was it because I support Trump? She worked for the Democrat Party? Probably, right? Probably. It's probably a good chance, but it doesn't matter. Ultimately, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, because if she did lose interest because of my support for President Trump, then I benefited from that, right? I dodged the bullet, okay? I dodged the bullet 100%. And ultimately, I won, right? I won for multiple reasons, okay? So, it's one of those things where it happens, okay? Yes, there are women out there that are basically trying to punish Trump supporters, men, for supporting Trump. But those are the women that Trump supporting men shouldn't want in the first place, right? So if they want to weed themselves out, I'm cool with that. I am totally fine with that, because, again, it says a lot more about them, okay, than it says about the man that voted for Trump. The fact that they're intolerant to who men vote for. Again, they don't even care why, right? They don't even want to ask why, right? Just the assumption that you're a bad person because you voted for Trump. Again, it says a lot more about the woman, right? That clearly she's somebody that's going to be a headache, right? That she's not somebody you're compatible with. And that's why I'm totally fine with it, right? I'm totally fine with these women outing themselves. by saying, hey, we don't date Trump supporters. Cool, right? Totally fine with me. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.